As a professional in the real estate and finance industry of more than 23 years, I've seen my fair share of change. What I wanted to share today is where I feel like realtors lack the most when they're serving their clients, and that is in the realm of presenting your value. Buyer's agents provide so much value for somebody who's buying a home. Even though buyers haven't had to pay for it in the past, and now there might be a shift in how a buyer's agent is compensated, it doesn't dilute how important that buyer's agent role is. So most of the 108-page NAR Settlement proposal really refers to a lot of things that most realtors and real estate agents are already practicing. I think the biggest change is that inside of MLS, a listing agent cannot demonstrate how much compensation could be going to a buyer's agent. So there's going to be other ways that are created, whether it's a website outside of the MLS where agents can go and present this information, to a code word. I don't know how it's going to come up, but we're going to figure it out together. This reminds me of the changes that went into effect on the mortgage side when we had to start the TRID regulations in October of 2015. And there were so many people that thought like the industry was going to crumble, that they were no longer going to be in business. But 9 years later, we're still originating mortgage loans. So it's just a part of a cleansing process that is going to help us with maybe some much needed change. Now, there are a lot of people who are concerned about how buyers are going to be able to afford a buyer's agent. And I'm saying, I don't think you can afford not to. You need to have somebody representing, negotiating, introducing you to their valuable partners. I'm talking partnerships as far as title agents, inspectors, insurance companies, lenders, all sorts of different really valuable partnerships. But the main reason that somebody would hire an agent is for their negotiation skills. So hopefully you're working with somebody that can save you much more than what that cost to have that agent is. Now, if the seller is going to pay some part or some percentage of the buyer's agent compensation, moving forward, no matter who's paying the commission, moving forward, we're going to have buyer's agreements between the buyer's agent and the client, the buyer. So this is where you can sit down and have a really clear conversation of just how much value you bring to your clients. If there's one complaint I have about realtors and real estate agents, is you don't express clearly enough the value that you bring. There are 100 different things going on at one time, and I know you're busting your butt to make all of these things happen. And my fear is if agents get out of the business because they're afraid, they only work with buyers, or if buyers only go directly to the listing agent, that listing agent no longer represents that seller, they're now representing that transaction. So they're not representing the buyer either. And I just think that that's such a letdown for that buyer to not have their needs represented as well. So is it going to be challenging to pay for it? You betcha. Because as of right now, we can't just roll that into a loan. VA won't even allow a realtor transaction fee to show up on the closing disclosure. They're certainly not going to allow realtor commissions. And what about our FHA with 3.5% down, our first-time home buyers with 3% down on a conventional loan, or down payment assistance programs? There's no wiggle room there to add that in. So is the offer going to get presented to the seller that, hey, we've got a solid offer here. The buyer's asking for 3% in seller concessions because they've got to pay for a buyer's agent. And then my next question that hits my brain is, when the seller sells and now they're going to be a buyer, are they paying out of pocket for their buyer's agent? I just don't know how the media is coming up with all of their crazy rhetoric that doesn't make sense to me, saying, Home prices are going to come down. More money will be made, kept in the pocket of sellers because they're paying less in commission. Gone are the days of 6% commission. 6% commission was never a law. It wasn't even a rule. It may have been common practice in some places, but everything is negotiable. So I think it's just going to be a requirement of better explanation to our sellers and to our buyers about who's responsible for what, the value that is brought, and exposure into the marketplace. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens here as things unfold. But I wouldn't be scared of it. I would just be prepared for whatever that change is going to be. We need to be the voice out in the mainstream on social media, conversations publicly, to dampen out what the media is saying with their fake news and their lies. But if buyers and sellers aren't hearing from us in this industry, then that's all they have is the media and their lies. So we've got to do a better job educating, having conversations, really clearing up the air, talking about what this proposed settlement even really has to say, and then face it head on. I know a lot of people are running the other way. We need to run at it and face it head on. Life favors the brave and the bold, and old ways won't open new doors. So here we go. Let's do this.